Welcome to another episode of Activists of Today. I'm your host, Sarah Sulewski. A little bit about me. I am a college student and a senior at the Tennessee State University. I'm captain of Tennessee State University's speech and debate team, and I travel the world as a competitive speaker. I come all the way from Orange County, California, where I am also a speech and debate coach for the Santa Ana Unified School District. Tonight, we welcome our special guest, Philip Agnew, to the mic. Here's a little bit about him. Philip Agnew is an organizer, artist, and a cultural critic. Philip Agnew co-founded the Dream Defenders in 2012 after the murder of Trayvon Martin and has been dubbed one of this generation's leading voices and recognized by both Ebony Magazine and The Root as one of the 100 most influential African Americans in the nation. Philip emerged as a national activist when he helped to organize students from FAMU, Florida State University in Tallahassee Community College, in the creation of the Student Coalition for Justice, which was formed in response to the Martin Lee Anderson case. His work in community organizing and art has been highlighted on MSNBC, BET's Rest in Power, PBS, The Huffington Post, USA Today, The Guardian, Democracy Now!, Essence, Truth Out, and Time Magazine. In 2018, he transitioned from his role as co-director of the Dream Defenders and now travels the country training and organizing where the movement hasn't touched. He is the co-founder of Miami Smoke Signal Studio, a community-based radical artistic space with his partner, poet Aja Monet. Smoke Signal Studio is a space where those invested in using art, sound, and music as a meeting place for transformation and liberation can come to create together. He is a nationally recognized educator, strategist, trainer, speaker, and cultural critic. He has spoken at colleges and conferences around the country and was a featured speaker at TEDx Women and SXSW in 2019. Agnew is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and a national surrogate for Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign for president. Please welcome to the mic, Philip Agnew.
Yo. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on, Sarah. This is a great pleasure and honor to be able to talk to your audience. And I got to shorten my bio a little bit.
No, you better brag on yourself. You got to tell them what you've done.
Yeah. So, no, it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. What a time to be alive.
Time to be alive, and I'm so honored that I was able to get you on the show tonight, so we're going to jump right into it. So, Philip, I want to know more about your journey into activism and advocacy. What really got you started?
Well, in 2003, I went from Chicago to Florida A&M University, and it was there that I really began my activist and organizing journey. I was really involved in student government, as you said in my little bio there. I joined Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, and we were very involved in the community, and so I had already thrown myself into what it meant to be more than just a student at a black college, but somebody who was concerned with the neighborhood around my school and other students who were going to my school and young people who were planning on going to the school. And in 2005, I got, thrown into this case, a young man who was murdered in a boot camp in Florida. His name was Martin Lee Anderson. And I was a sophomore in college and joined up with a number of other students. And we started this organization demanding justice for Martin Lee Anderson. And that was the first time that I had the opportunity to do anything like that. And I got to say, I was hooked. I was able to see some change happen. It wasn't nearly what was needed or required, but it was one of my first times, like I said, doing something to that level, and it transformed and changed my life. And later on in 2012, after Trayvon Martin was murdered, I helped to start the organization that I left a little over a year ago called the Dream Defenders, and we did, and they continue to do a lot of incredible work across the state of Florida. It's a statewide organization working around police and prisons.
Yes, I love your journey, and like you said, once you got into the work, you kind of got hooked. This work can do that to you, right? Once you're starting to try and implement change and change people's circumstances, not just your own, but the communities around you. And I just think it's great that you actually chose to be active and get involved. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
Like you stated, in 2012, you co-founded the Dream Defenders after the murder of Trayvon Martin. So could you tell us a little bit more about that process, creating Dream Defenders, and how that whole thing went?
Yeah, it was very organic. I was one of the older people in the group, but there were some that were older than me, some of my friends, and there were some that were way younger. I was 27 when we started the organization, and there were young people who were 17, 18, and so we were really starting from scratch. Well, not totally, because some of us had done this before. Some of the students that helped start the organization were already doing it on their college campuses, and so it wasn't completely from scratch, but it was definitely a new thing for us. Nobody really knew what this thing could grow into. We just knew we were angry, and we knew we wanted to do something, and that we couldn't just do something for a little while, that we had to do it for an extended amount of time, and had to have a plan and strategy, and had to have funding eventually. And so all those things were things that started to come down the road. But when we started, it was a matter of us coming together. We decided together that we wanted this to be an organization. It started with a march. We went from Daytona from Bethune-Cookman University to Stanford, where Trayvon Martin was murdered, and it was a 40-mile march, and we did that over the course of 3 days.
Wow.
And so it transformed a lot of people, because it's a long time to be walking with some people you don't even know as strangers. And we saw people, putting up their middle fingers to us, people, yelling slurs at us. There was a gas station that we went to stop in that they wouldn't let us in. It was all manner of different stuff like that. But we also saw a lot of people be very encouraging. And so, it just taught us a lot. It instilled in us and really catalyzed a lot of us to say, we want to do this. This is something, we just don't want to do this for 3 days. We want to actually build something that can really help people. And that's what we had at least attempted to do and tried to do. And there was a lot of obstacles along the way, but the main thing was we started to have a clear goal about where we wanted to go, and just started to work to it. That's the big thing I could tell anybody who wants to do something. You really need 1, 2 other people who are really dedicated to the mission and having a clear mission, and really you'll be able to do whatever you want to do.
Yes, having that clear mission is so crucial in building any sort of a movement. But I love that it started with a march, something that you guys you were angry, you were upset, and you chose to do something about it, the march, and that's so powerful. So powerful that something even more powerful was birthed out of that, just the choice to go and to stand up. So wow.
Yeah.
I say wow to the whole story.
It was transformational for sure.
Absolutely transformational. And as I've read in your bio previously that you recently transitioned from your role as co-director, and now you travel. You said that you travel and organize where the movement hasn't touched. Could you elaborate a little bit more on, what you really meant by that and what you're doing now?
Yeah. I mean, the movement that I'm a part of is, the movement for Black Lives Matter. Dream Defenders started a little bit before those things, but we all are in the same, kind of Black liberation movement together. It grew over the last few years. It grew really quickly, and it has a lot of power. It has a lot of people who are visible, and has been able to really get, help people get elected. It's, help people get out of prison and jail. But at the end of the day, it's still very small, and there's a lot of people who haven't been able to be touched or haven't had the opportunity to experience some of the things, the powerful things that we're doing, or even just talking about, giving them space to imagine, and giving them opportunity to have agency over their own lives. And so when I say that, or when I put that in my bio, my main thing was, I was kind of speaking it into existence, because I updated my bio really right after I left. So I knew that's what I wanted to do. And in the last year, that's what I've been able to do. I've been going to barbershops all over the country, been going to Black colleges where I met you. I've been going to, I've been going to places where, they haven't had the opportunity to engage with anybody who's talking about politics in the way that I talk about it, or other people talk about it, or haven't even been able to be listened to when it comes to what are the issues that are important to them. And so that's what I meant when I said it, and that's what it's looked like over the last year or so, is me going into these places. Not going to all the, I go sometimes, but I haven't been to many conferences, or I haven't been to many activist type events, because my goal is to be in places where we're not being talked about, us, and try to insert a voice into those spaces.
I love that, and I do have to tell you, you can feel that energy when when you're speaking to other people. When we met, I definitely and I felt that in the most genuine way, right? That it didn't feel like you were coming at me with an agenda, or you really wanted to listen and give some facts and educate a little bit, but it wasn't in the way that a lot of people are used to from a politician standpoint, or someone who feels like they have this big authority. And I think that's essential, especially right now, getting more people involved, especially at HBCUs, which is where we met. So thank you so much for that work and for giving that genuine, informative energy.
Thank you. That makes me feel good. That's the goal. That's really what it should be about. We're supposed to be trying to build the movement. One thing I say is, if you have less people at the end of the day than when you began it, we're not right. So that's the goal, to really bring people in.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And going back to your bio a little bit, it says that you emerged as a national activist when you helped to organize students from Florida State University and Tallahassee Community College in the creation of the Student Coalition for Justice, which was formed in response to the Martin Lee Anderson case. Now, a little bit for my listeners who may not know about the Martin Lee Anderson case, I'm just going to give a few quick facts. So Martin Lee Anderson was a 14-year-old from Florida who died while incarcerated at a boot camp-style youth detention center. So the Bay Area, the Bay Count Boot Camp, located in Panama City in Florida. In 2007, a jury acquitted 7 guards and a nurse who had been charged with aggravated manslaughter in his death. So that's a little background for my listeners who may not know. Could you, Philip, talk a little bit about the process of the creation of the Student Coalition for Justice and what their overall function is?
Well, this was our first organization, and, I have to be really honest here. I was learning at that point, and it was one of those other things that was really organic. I went to I went to Florida A&M, and I was student body vice president, I think, or maybe student body president, but I was in student government at Florida A&M, and there were students who had already organized a great, many things at Florida State. And then there were students who were in student government at TCC, which is a large community college in the same city. And so we all came together, and Student Coalition for Justice was really about, at first, justice for Martin Lee Anderson. And we tried to keep it going and growing, but it was really hard. People have a lot of, I know you know about this, people got a lot of different priorities. You're involved in like 18 different things. And it's hard. It's hard to get people focused, and it's hard to get people on the same page and find schedules, people pledging and people doing all type of different things on football teams. And so it was not easy, but it's kind of the same answer I would say with Dream Defenders. It was a group of people really trying to figure out where they go, how they do it, learning from other people, but just taking it a day at a time. Really, I wish we actually did have more time to lay out really good strategies, et cetera, and I think we would have been able to do even more, but we were really just going off of gut and instinct, and really a lot of times we were reacting, but there were many times that we actually got to apply pressure and catch them off guard, and I think those were some of the more exciting times that we've had, where we went out of the box and challenged ourselves and challenged the power structure, and that was when we saw the most things get done. That's really a big thing I would say. Don't do a march just because you see other people do a march. The big thing is for us to really be doing things that our opponents don't know that we're going to do. And you do that with debate, and you do that, and other people do that with other ways. You've got to be able to strategically think about what is the thing that allows us to have power in this moment, and for our opponent to be caught off guard. And we did a few of those things, and I think those was the times that we had the most success.
Yeah, really challenging the power structure. You said it right there. And you have your own, everyone has their own way of doing it, but I think you said something important, is not marching just because everybody's marching, with a purpose, and acknowledging the power and the purpose behind that. I think that's super important when wanting to lead any type of movement. Yeah,
and I'm going to say this real quick. I would also say don't not march just because people are marching. You know, some people just like
Mhm.
to be contrary and say, "Oh, I don't want to march. It's old." That's not true. You know, if you're in a place where they never seen a march, then maybe marching is the perfect thing for you to do because
True.
it catches them off guard, as I was saying before. So that's my big thing.
Nope, that's absolutely true. I think there's a few places back where I come from, Orange County. I don't know if there's been marches in some places, so a place like that would be great to do a march. Everyone's like, wait a minute, hold on, what's going on, to spark a conversation. I definitely think that's a great point to make there.
Mhm.
So transitioning a little bit, you are the co-founder of Miami Smoke Signal Studio. So I want to know more about the studio and some of your favorite experiences there.
Oh man, we got too many to name. I mean, the studio. So, me and my girlfriend moved into this house in 2015, and we at that point we were saying, hey, we wanted to do something with this space that we had in the house, and we both wanted to. I'm involved in. I've done music, but she was way more involved in the artistic realm, and we said, hey, you know, we got this extra room. We should do a music studio in the room, and we didn't really have money like that, so we put up a GoFundMe, and
Mhm.
you know, we put the goal at $10,000, and wound up raising way more than that, and was really able to pop off the studio when we said, you know, first we wanted this place to be somewhere where artists and people from the community could come and could use it, and could just have something to do and a place to be and a place to talk about and explore and exchange music, and it really was a place where we could kind of combine our twin joys of music and art, literature and poetry. So we opened it up, and you know, we said, hey, we want to do a open house so we could show people what they donated to, and we put it out there that we were going to have this party, and like 200, 300 people showed up, and it became this thing that we did every few months, this big party that we did in our backyard, and it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew, and it became, you know, we were able to do a TED talk about it a year, you know, a few years back, and we were able to do a lot with the space, and we're trying to figure out what it looks like now that we're transitioning, but the 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 heart of it was, how can we make sure that artists feel that they are a part of movement, and that organizers know that artists want to work with them. And a lot of the community organizer friends that I knew, they were rappers, they were singers, they were poets, they were
Right.
dancers, and so it was a great opportunity to join all of those worlds. And you know, our mentor is Mr. Harry Belafonte, and he always quotes Paul Robeson, who says that artists are the gatekeepers to truth. And
Yes.
so artists have a definite role in the movement and a strong place in the movement, and we wanted to showcase that. And it's been dope. We've had a lot of people perform in the house. You know, had a lot of people perform in the backyard where we do the parties. Had, you know, Estelle, Most Def, Luke James, Ro James, Hannibal Burris, Vic Mensa. Um, I said Talib already. David Banner, Aaron Allen Kane,
Wow.
12, and just a lot of people have come through. And really, my favorite part, I don't like planning them because it's just too much stress, but my favorite part is the parties, because you really don't know who's going to pull up and grab the mic. You know, Jesse Williamson came through, and so it's just dope.
Wow.
It's a crazy party. It's always a lot of people, 500 or so people in the backyard and vibing, but it's also, you know, us starting to show what it looks like when people come together, and what it could look like when people are together, and the power of that.
I have to say, I'm like almost left speechless just hearing you talk about it, because I can picture it, and it
Yep.
sounds so, like you said, dope. Like dope isn't even a word. Like the word for it, dope, beautiful, like transformative. Like that space is so beautiful. Like thank you so much for creating that. I have to commend you for creating that space and that opportunity. I want to come. I'm like, wait, I need to be
Oh
there
man.
because wow.
Yeah, you go to our Instagram, Smoke Signals MIA, and you're gonna see a lot of crazy, dope videos and things. I don't know if we're gonna do another party, because We just really had our last party in December. But you know what? If you coming to Miami, we might be able to pull something together. We'll see.
I'm gonna have to let you know because that, I mean, having a space like that for artists, I think is revolutionary in itself. And I feel like people use the word revolutionary for these big, huge things, but a space, an intimate space like that, to me is also revolutionary because you're giving people an outlet to express themselves and come together and create that sense of community and really bounce off all of that energy. And to me, that is something that is revolutionary. To even be in a room like that, I think is so necessary and so important. And so I can't say the thank you enough for creating a space like that for so many people who I've known have been transformed just by being in that type of area with you. So
yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate it. It's given us a lot. And, as much as, I think we've contributed, we've definitely received from other people.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. So switching gears again because you do a million things and you're great. Philip, you are a national surrogate for Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign for president. So I want to know about your experience with Bernie and some key facts we should know about his campaign.
Oh, wow. Well, after I left the organization, that was in November of 2018. I was looking for something to do. I wanted to be involved in, something that could give me the opportunity, time, space, and kind of even the pressure, to kind of get up off the couch. I had taken about 3 weeks off, and I was getting bored already, about to go crazy, and, trying to figure out what I would be a part of next. And this, this campaign, this not just for Senator Sanders, but this election is the most important in our lives. And I said, hey, man, why don't I try to get involved in doing some of the campaign stuff? And I didn't really have a connection or a way to get involved with the Sanders campaign. And my good friend, her name is Renee Spellman. She was named deputy campaign manager, and I had met her when we were in college, and we kind of stayed in contact through Facebook and Instagram. But I sent her a DM. I'm like, yo, how can I be down? And, she said, hey, a million ways, and so she really was the person that shepherded me and brought me into the campaign and, let me know. I didn't even really know what a surrogate was, but let me know what that role was and, introduced me to the folks inside the campaign, some of which knew the work that we were a part of, but mostly didn't, and introduced me to Senator Nina Turner, who's the national co-chair of the campaign. It's two black women, really, and who, deputy campaign manager and national co-chair. And you met Nina, Senator Turner, when we were there at the HBCU tour.
Yep.
And it was, these two women really said, hey, there's a place for you here. This is an opportunity that, for us to be able to engage and talk to people, and with your background and your experience, we think you could be an asset to the team. And I was like, yo, put me in the game, let me know what I need to do, and I'll do it. Tell me where to be, and I'll be there. And it's been an incredible experience. I've been all over now, the country, on behalf of the campaign, contributing what I can to it, and meeting with folks and having the conversations, and like I said, with black college students, with black students at white colleges, with barbers, in community centers, at churches. We're having these conversations everywhere. And for me, it's just been an incredible opportunity to have a young black man. I never thought I would be in Iowa, or I had even I'd never been to Vegas, and I know a lot of people have, but I've never been to Vegas. So to go to Vegas, and it wasn't about going crazy on the Strip, but it was actually about trying to help this campaign really, win and talk about its issues and listen to people. It was really it has been an exciting opportunity for me. And then let's just, put it out there. This is a campaign that is seeking to transform the country. It's not your regular run-of-the-mill campaign. This is a campaign that's really genuinely directed at helping everyday people and making sure that the conditions of working people are improved dramatically and that they're at the center of the conversation and not on the back burner. And so for me, this is the only campaign that's really been putting in the time and the energy to go to HBCUs, to talk to students, to go to, like I said, to the barbershops and talk to young black men and older black men. It's the only campaign that's dedicated that time, energy, and resource. And I'm excited about it because, this is the infrastructure and these are connections that are going to outlast even this campaign season. And so that's why I did it. That's why I threw down. That's why I joined. And then when it comes to what are some important things to know about the campaign, is a lot of it is what I tell everybody. No matter what part of your life that you're looking for, you can find that is important to you. What issues are important to you? You could go to his website and find a issue and find a solution to it that relates to what you're going through. The big thing for me is everybody will have health care. College will be free. Black colleges will be free. Black colleges are going to get billions of dollars of investment in them. Students are not going to have to graduate strapped with debt. And he's going to legalize marijuana. And so, those are the top three things. If you're trying to remember things about Bernie Sanders, he's going to have health care for you and your parents and your grandparents, college for free for you, and marijuana free for everybody.
Yep, you guys heard it here. That's health care, free college, and legalized marijuana. Those are some three takeaways you can take about Bernie's campaign, as well as everything else he said. But if you didn't hear anything else, you heard those three things. I love it. So, Philip, I asked all of my guests this question. Why do you believe activism in this day and age is so important?
That's a great question. I mean, it's always been important. This is the only way that this country is going to be forced to live up to the values that it proclaimed when it was founded. It's never lived up to its values. When the Founding Fathers wrote down the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, it was a lie. And they lied, and they know they lied. They had slaves, and they had people that they treated as subhuman. And the only people who had entitlement in this society were white men who owned land. And so activism is the only way that slaves were freed. It's the only way that we got the 5-day work week. It's the only way we got the 8-hour work day. It's the only way we got the weekend. It's the only way that women and black people got the right to vote. It's the only way that LGBTQ folks got the right to marry. It's through activism. And that's the only way that we're going to change anything. Even though I'm working for a presidential campaign right now, it is a part of my belief that in activism, you're going to need somebody who actually respects people and honors people and believes in people, and that's why I'm working on this campaign. But it's not going to, don't sleep, For me, activism and specifically community organizing, which is bringing people together around a common goal, are the most important things that any citizen can do in a society. It is making sure that the people who are chosen to represent them remember every day who they're accountable to, who pays their bills, who can get them out of office at any given time. And when we lose that desire, we lose that will, we lose that courage to actually do what needs to be done by way of activism and organizing, then people get comfortable. And they get comfortable, and we get comfortable, and we continue to live these lives that we've been living, with people getting murdered, people getting thrown in jail every single day, deported. Our water is horrible. The air is horrible. We're going to keep getting what we've always gotten. And so that's what I always say. If you do what you always done, you're going to get what you always got. And so activism is a part of not doing what we've always done and getting what we deserve.
Getting what we deserve. I love that you ended on that. I say basically everything that you said is that we haven't, the country, and when everything was written, it was built on lies. We haven't obtained the freedom that we were promised. And so it's time that we continue to fight for that, and we can't rest. Like you said, I 1,000% agree. So, Philip, with everything that you're doing, what are some ways that listeners can either get involved or keep up with what you're involved in? Are there anything that we should know about, the projects that you're with besides the campaign?
Well, yeah, right now the campaign is taking up a whole bunch of my time and energy. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @feelsomething, @PHIL something, SOMETHING. You'll get to see what I'm doing and where I'm doing it. And I would say the most important thing is don't worry about me. Look into your community, look into your block, and determine what you want to do with it, determine what you want to see done, get some other people to come around you and come around the idea and set a goal and set a destination and go for it and don't stop. So, you can follow me on Instagram, but at the end of the day, people are going to need to take control of their own lives and do what they need to do, and that's what it's going to take in order for society to change. And, of course, vote for Bernie Sanders. He's the only real one. And, you'll be able to choose somebody who actually respects people.
I love it. Philip, thank you so much for coming on this platform tonight and educating the people, the listeners out here. And I'm just so honored to hear from you, to hear more of your wisdom and just experience you talking about everything that you're involved in. You really are doing some amazing work. I'm truly inspired by you. So just thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
No problem. I really appreciate you, and looking forward to linking back up when we come back around on the HBCU tour.
I sure hope so. And happy Black History Month to you.
Thank you. 29 days this year.
Okay, we got an extra day this year, so I love it. Yes, well, hopefully I will talk to you soon. Good luck with everything, and we'll definitely link and do something in the future.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Philip.
All right. You too. Have a great one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Activists of Today. I've been your host, Sarah Sulewski. I would like to give a special thanks to my boss, Ashley Little. You all may follow me on Facebook at Sarah Sulewski or on Instagram at Sarah_Sulewski. Thank you.